outside. All right, we're live. Going to talk a little bit about how horrible city of Duluth, Minnesota is with their outrageous number of predator offenders that are roaming the streets. Quite a few. And one of these predator offenders, it's the other side. Oh, shoot, wait a minute. Okay, this one, I wanted to adjust that somehow. Okay. One of these people is using my identity or has stolen my identity with the help of the some people within local or county government, maybe relatives or whatever. So if there's 300 plus predator offenders, that's a pretty serious person to be wandering around participating in what's called community service restitution. So apparently they can skip out of their penalties or their convictions and what their terms are as far as prison time and stuff, and then they can participate in community service restitution. So I've had a lot of trouble with people harassing the living daylights out of me every day for a long, long time. And I'm like, what the? And it turns out that community policing is really a big thing for sex offenders, predatory offenders, family members. They get to share with, they get to share in the police radio frequencies, the dedicated frequencies that are encrypted. And unless you have that Motorola, you don't know what the hell they're saying or whatever. They can communicate back and forth. Groups, domestic terrorists, I call them, or organizations that target a subject like myself that they don't like, or maybe I know a little bit about the sex offenders or the predatory offenders that are roaming the streets of Duluth, Minnesota, and the family members don't like me because of that. So the amount of community support for these programs is outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous, and they get into all kinds of unlawful things like intercepting a person's communications, like mine, for example. So I'm calling this person seeking help.
Reach D. Johnson, St. Louis County E-Management. Or D, I mean, forgive me that I'm eating chips or something, and record.
Sounds terrible. What I want to get to is there's a conversation that I have with somebody that is claims to be a duty officer for the state of Minnesota in some law enforcement capacity. And I talked to this person and I'm blown away by this. This cannot be a formally educated, duty agent, officer, or whatever. And then the guy hands it to his mother. So it's like
abusing the telephoning and abusing the systems and software and so forth for community policing and surveillance and radio software systems like telephony and others. Yeah, so with that, I was on minute. I gotta close this window. There's some equipment inside. Okay, so you're a duty officer for the BCA, for the state. Which, okay, so is it Department of Safety or what? Brandon?
Yep, absolutely.
It's so you just told me that you work for the BCA.
That's correct. So the Minnesota State Duty Officer Program is housed within the BCA.
That's correct. Well, there's duty officers in the FBI. There's duty officers for Attorney General. You know, there's a lot of different duty officers, and normally when I call someplace, I don't just automatically get a duty officer on the phone. I usually get screened and then speak to somebody. But first, I speak with somebody like at the front desk or whatever. But anyway,
So this the 300 plus predatory offenders that are in this small city are like in a group, and they communicate and socialize and interact with one another, and they're supported because they go to these, rehabilitation or train, whatever. They participate in these community service, their organizations. Maybe they're on Crime Watch or who knows, but they're all connected, and they all support each other, and they use the community policing tools to their advantage and can intercept communications, can take over accounts with support from people like Joshua S. Pringle, that works as an IT guy for Minnesota IT Government Services, or the UMD IT department that supports and helps members of the community, right? Or if one of these offenders' aunt works in the courthouse or in some government position, that's all spread around, and they all work together and collude. And this is a prime example of maybe this person that I'm speaking to is a predator offender, and he's trying to pull off some bullshit, excuse me, and then his mom picks up the phone. Really, that would good.
The BCA or Homeland Security or Department of Safety? I guess I'm confused.
Well, sir, you called us with a duty officer line, so we take all emergency calls. So we do.
On the phone, I usually get screened and then speak to somebody. But first, I speak with somebody like at the front desk or whatever. But anyway, so the BCA or Homeland Security or Department of Safety? I guess I'm confused.
Well, sir, you called us with a duty officer line, so we take all emergency calls. So we deal with anything from crime scenes to bomb squad. Is there an emergency you're trying to report?
I didn't realize this was an emergency line. It didn't appear to be that when I got this information. So this is very strange to me. And what I'm complaining about is somebody that is abusing the systems available for community policing or emergency management, and it's a very
Then
significant.
you could check with Homeland Security, but that has nothing to do with what the duty officers do for the state of Minnesota.
And your name is?
My name is Trish. I'm duty officer.
And then they called it. She hung up. Not like, oh, geez, that sounds like a real big issue. Let me direct you to this number or that number, because that sounds like something that is a problem. If people are abusing the law enforcement's mechanisms in any way, it's a huge deal. But Trish didn't seem to think it was a big deal and just hung up the phone. But that was her. Was that her son there? I mean, my God, what a dope.
Yeah, so what's that out?
Enforcement, that is Brandon. Oh, okay. I'm looking at, let's see. Yeah. Yep. I have to try something different. Is this a duty? I'm trying to reach a duty officer for the emergency management, looks like. Yeah. Yep. You're the duty officer for what is this?
Yep.
FEMA?
Sorry, this is Brandon. Over at the BCA.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at, let's see, Fire Center, Minnesota Emergency Ops, and then FEMA, Minnesota Duty Officer. And your name's Brandon. All right. Hey, Brandon, what do you do about, let's say, law enforcement, somebody in law enforcement that is abusing the systems and software and so forth for community policing and surveillance and radio software systems like telephony and others.
Yeah, so with that, I was going to go unit.
Just a second, Brandon.
Well, we've heard that. So this Brandon idiot is fumbling around talking just complete nonsense. Doesn't know his ass from his elbow. And then he has his mother pick up the phone and try to help. And she's just as stupid as this guy is. I wasn't speaking to anybody that had any position of authority at all. This is an example of how they intercept your communications and will impersonate anybody. And how do you know, right? I mean, this is like, because you're calling the number and everything looks legit, but it's just that your phone may not be connected to, if the account is taken over by these maggots, and then you're just in this closed loop system where you're speaking to members of this group of criminals. It's insane. It's insane, and this is going to be the biggest splash since Jordan, Minnesota, and that sex scandal back in the 80s. And that should have blown up bigger than it did, but the governor got in or something like that. I don't know. It's a complete mess, but all public sector, all crooked as, and it's just insane. So here's an example of a complete putz that is probably, this might be an actual employee, but I mean, just my God, here, have a listen to this thing. I don't, he sounds like a putz to me. It's my opinion. Everybody else might go, oh, Hubbard, you're so off base with this guy's sharp as a tack. But could be I'm wrong.
The whole thing's a mess. I'll pull it together. Just give me a sec.
Do my funny voice.
1-2-1-8-2-1-8-2-1-8. Louis County Communications Unit, Jay Mathis, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone.
I don't even bother leaving messages because nobody calls me back. St. Louis County Emergency Management. This is Dan Johnson.
It's Jay.
Hello, this is Mike.
You're trying to call my cell phone.
Yeah, is this Jay Mathis?
This is Jason, yep.
Yeah, okay, great. What do I do if somebody...
Already, he just sounds like he's not in control of anything. He doesn't sound like he's capable of driving his mother's Subaru from getting back home from the grocery store.
In emergency management or law enforcement is using or abusing some of the radio communications or other tools to stalk or harass me. Well, what I notice on my devices, my emails and so forth, are related or associated with different phone numbers that don't belong to me, or as far as a recovery email address, I don't recognize. The cell service is compromised, I believe.
Blah blah blah.
It looks like there's some technology called radio telephony and some other software that seems to affect my devices. And these are things that are specific to law enforcement and emergency management.
Hello.
That's the end. He hangs up.
Shit, can you believe that? That's little about Jay Mathis from whatever. He's probably I don't know. It's all leftist, all crooked. This is Duluth, Minnesota. Beware, children. Don't come up here. This place is full of frickin' pedophiles. The place is swimming with pedophiles and single mother old ladies that support and defend this kind of garbage, just garbage. So if we're wondering, like, what happens if you're a convicted sex offender and you want to get out of jail, right? Well, you've got end of confinement review committee. That's ECR. And one of the disgusting maggot sex offender that is stealing my identity or using my name and all of my everything. He raped an 8-year-old girl when he was 43 years old. Doesn't bother any of these people, and any of these leftist maggots. That doesn't affect them at all. As long as he is on their side, they don't care about the 8-year-old girl he assaulted and raped. So, like, beat the hell out of her and raped her or what? I mean, in Texas, oh shoot, my collar's all jacked up. Which side is it? Oh, it's the other side. Wait a minute, that one. Oh, that one. Never mind. Can you believe it? The poor little girl, an 8-year-old girl. Is she 40 pounds, maybe? I don't even know. But he's 43 years old, and he's a level 3 sex offender, fucking maggot, piece of fucking shit. Sorry, I let that one slip. Dang it. it doesn't affect these anybody on the left, as long as I don't know. How could anybody accept a person like that? It's disgusting. If that person was thrown in regular population jail, he would be dead within a day. Even the most murderous bastards cannot tolerate filthy sex offenders. Up here in Duluth, Minnesota, bring them in. Have them work community service, restitution. They don't have to do prison time. Nah, none of that. This guy he uses my email addresses, and he's referring to his case manager as ECR mama, my ECR mama. So he's probably sleeping with his case manager. Of course, if it helps get you out of whatever. So he's got that. And what is a end of confinement review committee? Who's involved in that? Oh God. Well, you've got to have. It consists of a supervisor. That could be like a CO, which is a corrections officer, supervisor, corrections officer, or law enforcement of some capacity, a treatment counselor, a social worker, and I think like somebody that kind of like prepares them to get back into the community or something. That's it. And then there's no it's just like a one-time committee, and then there's no committee. It's like you don't even call it a committee, because you would think a committee is like a big boardroom with like serious people and shit. It's just a couple of yokel jerk off or people that he became friends with or something, or maybe his friend of cousins, whatever. Total BS. It's the MSOP. That's the Minnesota Sex Offender Program. I see emails from this filthy maggot using my identity, and it's he's got a case manager named Stephanie, and I see that. I've got the emails for that. There's community service, restitution. We already talked about that. Got some more great recordings. So yeah, you can get a convicted sex offender can get off of the registry, and that's Minnesota statute. Where is it? Shucks. Sorry to not be like way on it. 609.3457 sex offender assessment. So once they, you go through the committee, then you can be reevaluated from a level 3, which is lifetime. The state of Texas, they don't play around with this trash. You're a lifetime maggot, and they stick you in a, you do your tour in prison, and if you make it out alive, well, it's unfortunate for everybody, but you're out. So then they stick you in a little camp somewhere where you belong. You should be shot in the face if it were me or most people, right? And just stick a gun in your face and blow your head off. Of course, I despise sex offenders, but you have to follow the legal. The wheels of justice turn slow, and sometimes they go backwards. And when Minnesota is when they turn backwards. They turn backwards and allow sex offenders and predator offenders to wander the streets and take advantage of people. And so, yeah, you can get reevaluated. You can get off the registry. You can also change your name. That is under Minnesota Statute 259.11B, I guess. And believe it or not, you can work in law enforcement if expunged, set aside, or pardoned. You've got a friend in county court, whatever, or a judicial judicial referee. In Minnesota, if you want to be a judicial referee, you can be. You don't have to be formally educated in jack shit. You can be. All you got, the requirement to be a judicial referee is to be 18 years 18 years of age and live in the state. Yeah. Yep. Look it up. It's absolutely insane. So that's crazy. That's that kind of thing. Now let's jump back. Jump back. How do we do that? Let's review what it's like to have the University of Minnesota Duluth IT department monitor your kids or your student, your searches, what you're doing online. Or if you're thinking about going to the University of Minnesota Duluth and you're concerned about your child has, maybe conservative views or something, or if you just want your child to have a proper formal education, this is not the place to be. Here is Chuck Mosel, I think, Moseler, at UMD IT, who's in charge of something. I'm sure it's the only thing he's probably in charge of is showing up from in time for his mother's sponge bath when he lives at home, of course, right? He's an old IT guy. Good God, this is it.
It's like the phones and all that stuff. Well, so I was gonna email some stuff to senators and
Okay, so my devices are totally smoked by these maggots, right? The Joshua S. Pringles of the world, who happens to also buy and sell real estate down in the cities, and maybe he's got an advantage that most people don't. Maybe he has access, or he uses what he's capable of as far as interference or remote accessing people's devices to make sure that he gets the best commercial real estate deal down in the cities. And he uses a different name, by the way. And he's an activist, so I've heard. So Joshua S. Pringle, the dingle of Minnesota IT, participates, emails this maggot, this rotten, filthy pig that raped an 8-year-old girl in Texas when he was going to Texas State, probably for cyber technology, similar to some of the judges that are in the 6th District Court up here, namely Neo, who I think graduated or spent time at Metropolitan College. Metropolitan College is really engaged in cyber tech and cyber intelligence. So they love this kind of stuff. And so do, some of the law firms that are specific to women's causes or all female attorneys in one law firm. And I think that there's a metropolitan group that also supports child rapists and predator offenders that just cannot stand conservatives or men in general. So that is a domestic terrorist mindset, ideology, and it is thriving in this dump this filthy, rotten, crooked as a barrel snake city, Duluth, Minnesota. This place is full of drugs and pedophiles, 100%. And half the cops, we'll get into that. They don't do a damn thing because they've all got their fingers in it or somebody. It's just a mess, So here, this is Chucky Moselle, the I don't know, just this guy's driving me. Oh, so I'm at the IT department down at the university because I was at the library trying to send out some information or whatever. Instantly, I'm surrounded by 6 cops. Just boom, like that. I get it all the time. And this guy comes up, and I don't know what the hell why I'm yawning.
Sorry, I was up like at 3 because Jasper, my cat, was sleeping now. Good for him. Good for us. Jasper was like, I was watching a mouse or something outside, and I have a little bed over there. It's almost like it's the smallest like bed, whatever. And there's these blinds like that, you see. But on that side over there, they're metal blinds, and I keep them closed because I sleep naked. I don't want people like weirdos peering in and stuff. And so I'm sleeping, and then at like 3 a.m, Jasp is like, I can hear him running around, but I'm kind of half asleep. And he's looking out the windows, like, there's a little yard out in front there, so that you can see the traffic, right? There's a car. He's bouncing around from window to window, and then he goes to mine because the little critter is running back and forth in front of the building, and just like making a huge racket, standing on my face and everything. So I didn't get much sleep. I'm at UMD in the library. I've got a new laptop, and I'm trying to get like hardwired, no Wi-Fi. I want to plug right into the system. Sorry. But the librarian's like, oh, you just go down to the IT right downstairs. There's the help center. And just go in there, and they'll be happy to help you. And I'm like, oh, terrific. So I go in there, and it's like total gang up on these moist people that live in a basement, and they're just surrounded by, gigabytes and flat screen lighting, and they're just like, they're pasty, and they're like bleached looking from lack of sun, which is weird, right? And they're poorly dressed, and they're just like poorly groomed and all that kind of stuff, but they have these remarkably hostile attitudes towards others that are outside of the gigabytes or the shit hubs or the Java shit or JavaScript and all that kind of stuff. So if you're not in that realm, then they got nothing they want. You're not a part of that club. Yeah, right. I get down there, it's just a regular Joe, right? Like la 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 la. And they're just fucking hard on me right away, hostile. And they've called the cops even before I got down there. And I'm arguing with the cops, and this is halfway in. And now some director of what? Let's see. First he's the department head. Now he's the network manager. And then he's a director. His name's Chuck Mosel or Bozel. Network manager or whatever. And he's telling me, like, no, I'm talking with him, and I'm being denied some level of service. And somebody does not denies a person, like, you're being denied because of a policy.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have a policy. I always ask, show me the policy, because I don't want somebody's preferences to interfere with my, access that would be equal to everyone else. And I get that a lot. I get that a ton because
I'm just skipping ahead. I just blather on.
and that wasn't too long ago. It was like 19. Know who you are, and we, there's a conservative or something. Then low level, can't really make a crime out of it, but it's there. A university account. Exactly what the Stasi do. Now listen to this. You're also monitoring. You don't monitor anything, or you can't get on a hardware connection. There are hardware connections in the library. You can't get on it unless you have a university account. Well, I was working on that just before. Okay, we'll get connected. So then I come down here. Once we know who you are, then we can tie the locks to what you're doing. If something were to be identified, then you're all compliant. So you're also monitoring. We don't monitor anything. You just said that. No, I didn't. I said no, I didn't. It's when if somebody does something, I think you provided enough information. Do you have any questions? So there's that. I mean, he just totally said that. He's just like, and I'm like, so whenever somebody's doing something like that's stupid, let them talk. It was the officer, the University of Minnesota sworn police officer Johnson, who's a pretty nice guy, all in all, had to shut this had to actually shut the professor up from, being a complete dumb idiot. I mean, no, I didn't. I said no, I didn't. You can't get on it unless you have a university account. Well, I was working on that just before. Okay, we'll get connected. So then I come down here. Once we know who you are, then we can tie the locks to what you're doing. If something were to be identified, then you're all compliant. So you're also monitoring. We don't monitor anything. You just said that. No, I didn't. I said no, I didn't. It's when if somebody does something, I think you provided enough information. And the funny thing is this guy came at me hard too. Like the IT people are so insane. They hate me for, I've never met any of these guys, but there's a bigger program undercurrent swirling around in this hellhole dump of a city that's so fucking corrupt you can't imagine. And they have control, and they have the firewall, and they can take your ability to have privacy and communicate with others and restrict it. And that's what they're doing in this utopia of it's so corrupt. It's unbelievable. And there's literally half of it seems like, well, I think it's like 40% of the population of this city works in law enforcement, city, county, local government, or health and human services and all of that. That's like half of the population. And the more this continues, the more people get involved. And the only person that's standing up for myself is me. And I'm harassed daily. And I'll call law enforcement. Whatever. And they're like, you. And I don't get any help. Nobody picks up. Nobody. I'll meet a law enforcement officer in person, provide evidence. Here, look, this is what's going on. No interest, no nothing, no. And they're hoping that I'm charged with a half a pound of meth. Fucking,
And I've been in jail 17 times. 17 times. I've never been arrested in my life prior to this crap. And, I'm trying to post stuff. I lost all my social media to a sex offender. Yeah. Anyway, I hope this gets out there and is I can share it and people will go like, holy crap, Mike, that looks like a shithole. Excuse my language. Sorry, Lord, working on it. I'm going to give it a like. Oh, I can't even do that. I can't give it a like. This is probably not even going to post, but anyway, have a nice. My pleasure. How do I turn it off? La, 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 la. Is it even going? I don't think this is even real. This is just like stagnant. I might have just wasted 45 minutes. I love it though. Give it a heart in the chat. Okay, how do I stop it? Choose what to share on YouTube. I thought I already did that. And then I can't hit the share button. So this isn't even going anywhere. Do I exit out? Live streaming. It says I'm live. Do I hit the live button? End stream. Oh, there's that. Sorry. End it now. End it.